and welcome back to this week's vlog. Ignore the truck in the background, that's because my mum is currently turning the trailer. We've already gone up and got it. It's currently 6:15, so it's been a really early start for us. We was up at 5:15. But it's totally worth it, by the way. I'm not complaining getting up that early, especially when it's actually a nice day today, so I'm not complaining. It's so worth all these early starts and taking them to the vets, etc. But today is a big day, although last week was a big day, finding out what the issue was and Dan having a nerve block. Now, if you guys are new, then I would recommend maybe to watch the update vlog first, because it will tell you guys what's going on and what we've been through the last couple of weeks, and then watch the next vlog, which will be taking Dan to the vets where he had the nerve block, and at the end of the video it tells you guys what's wrong with Dan. And then I would come on to this video, because then it will all make sense basically. Or if you don't want to watch the update vlog, which is very long, I do apologise, but you guys have been on the whole journey with me, then I recommend to watch the other vet video and then come to this vlog. But if you want to know about everything, then I'd watch the update vlog first and then the next vet one and then this one, if that makes sense. But yeah, so today he's going for his injection, which I'm really nervous about, but equally excited, because we're gonna be, fingers crossed, touch wood, we're gonna be on the mend. It's still gonna be a very long time. I'm still far away of getting on him. But basically, just to remind you guys, if you've forgotten what's wrong with him, he has done his digital flexor tendon sheath. So he hasn't pulled a check ligament, he hasn't done a tendon injury. Well, it kind of is, but he hasn't done a tendon or anything like that. The sheath basically goes around the tendon to almost protect it, and it's the sheath that he's actually damaged, not the tendon himself. But one of his ligaments that are close by is very inflamed, hence why he's got the bit of swelling. He's got inflammation in there basically. So by having the injection, hopefully it's going to bring down the inflammation, and bring the ligament back to its normal kind of self sort of thing. And then should hopefully, with the inflammation coming down, should make him sound, fingers crossed, touch wood, providing that it all works. Providing that the injection all works, he has got to be on box rest for 6 weeks. This weekend will be 6 weeks since he's gone lame, and he's been on box rest already for about 4 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks, because he didn't go on box rest straight away, because we just thought he pulled a muscle or something like that, and we just carried on with his routine. So he's only actually been on box rest for 3 or 4 weeks. And yeah, he's basically going to be continuing on with box rest for 6 weeks, and it's very strict. I mean, we've had to be very careful that he doesn't run around or be silly, because it can obviously make his injury worse. But when he has the injection, we've got to be even stricter with him. He literally cannot do anything. He's allowed in his stable, and he's allowed out in the area to have a little walk round, because they want him to have a little walk round. And yeah, it's very strict. So he'll do the 6 weeks of box rest, and then we imagine when we get near the end of the 6 weeks, he might have to go back to the vets and have his legs scanned to see if there's an improvement. Providing that there is an improvement, fingers crossed, then I can start doing the rehab with him, which is basically in-hand walking him, but only on flat ground basically. So where he is at the moment, unfortunately we can't do the rehab here, because it's either uphill or downhill, and we did think about just taking him out in the trailer and finding somewhere flat to do it, but it wouldn't be ideal, and obviously it's very time consuming if we've got to do it every single day by going to get the trailer, loading him, driving there, etc. But one of our friends has very kindly said that we will be able to take him there, where they basically have a stable and it's flat. They've got a sand school and everything like that, which is just going to be amazing. So he won't move there until we get to the rehab stage, I don't think. But yeah, so that's basically what's going on. And then with the rehab, I know I'm walking him in hand, but I don't know how long for or kind of what the next steps are after. If the injection does not work, then he will go for surgery. And again, I know nothing really about that because we're hoping that obviously the injection's going to work and we're not going to have to get to that point. But providing that it all goes well with the injection and everything like that, then after a while, once we've built him up and done all of the rehab, I will be able to get on him, and obviously it would be just hacking and building him up, etc. With surgery, I think at the end I will potentially be able to do the same thing, but it'll be a longer process obviously with him having surgery. But hopefully we're not going to get that far, and hopefully in 6 weeks time we're going to have seen an improvement with the injection, and we're going to be able to go on from there. So that's kind of a little update for you guys and a reminder. But yeah, so he's going to the vets again today for, well, last week was 7:30 and they said this week to go 7:45, 8 o'clock. So just a little bit later. We're only leaving like 15 minutes later than last week. And he's basically getting dropped dead this morning, but the vet isn't doing anything to him until this afternoon at 3 o'clock, which they rang us up on Thursday to tell us that. But so we were going to take him there for about 2:30, but then we figured like the traffic's on the way there, a certain bit, the traffic's always really bad, and it's half term and it's a Friday as well, which always seems to be busier. So yes, we think it's going to be very busy, and obviously we don't want to be late. So we've decided, we rang back up and said, is there any chance he could come in the morning and he'll just have to stay there for the day, and then when the vet's able to get there for 3 o'clock he'll be done. It will take about an hour and a half. So that's what's happening. So he's going this morning and he'll be just chilling in the stable until 3 o'clock this afternoon basically. But I think all he is having is the injection. I don't think I know there's nothing else that's going to be done to him, but I don't know if they will like I don't know, check it again or not, because I can't imagine there's any improvement with him because he hasn't had the injection or anything like that. I'm basically taking the same stuff for Dan as last week. So he's obviously got his travel boots, his bridle and his cooler rug and his leather head collar. So I've just brought that up for when I'm ready to put it all on him. They'll probably have to use the bridle again today. They used it last week because they said he was very excited and strong. So I imagine they'll probably have to use it with him today. But yeah, it's basically the same as last week really, but it's just a different thing. It's an injection to help him, whereas last week was obviously the nerve block to find out what the issue is. Hey mister? And they did say, well, the lady who was the nurse that kind of dealt with us when we arrived and when we went and picked him up, she said that he might potentially come home with a bandage on from where he's had the injection. She said, I'm not sure for definite, but he potentially could, and I imagine we might have to change it for a couple of days, and then I don't think he'll have to have the bandage on for the whole 6 weeks, but because he's just had the injection, I think he might have to have it on for a couple of days. Because my friend Maisie, different scenario, well, her horse had to have an injection, but for hook arthritis, and they used to be able to do it at their place, and Murphy used to have his hocks and everything all bandaged once he had the injection, and just keep him on for a couple of days, and then he was able to take it off. But obviously he only had to have like a week off, and then it was like walking, so it's a completely different scenario and different place. But I remember when he had to have the injections, they did bandage it, so it's probably going to be the same for you, Grumpy Guts. Hey, you big grumps. So yeah, so I'm going to brush his tail through because it's covered in shavings, and just give him a little brush just so he's nice and clean really. Hey mister. And then yeah, I can put his cooler rug on. I'm not bothering taking the 100 gram like I did last week because he travelled in it and then they didn't want it basically, so I know they're not going to want it again. So I'm just going to take his cooler, I'll put it on him to travel him, and then just his travel boots, and I'm not even going to bother taking the 50 gram because I just know they wasn't going to put it on. It's so much better today because obviously last week we didn't know what to expect or anything, so this week we know kind of what to expect, which is a little bit nicer than last week not having a clue what was going on. We just knew that he had to be there, basically. Whoa.
You're quite good at that, dodging all my questions. Wrap your arms around my neck. Such a decent price, earning my affection. Now there's no way to go back. Hoping we're in that movie where you teach me how to dance, and I'm just a young and foolish, begs for a second chance. I'm doing clumsy pirouettes in your bedroom light, praying you will ask me to come stay the night. But baby, we're so cute to pretend. We both know it don't make no sense. When you go, I can't make you stay. So we live for the night and we fade in the rhythm. So cute to pretend. We both know it don't make no sense. And when you go, I can't make you stay. So we fade in the rhythm. So we fade in the rhythm. Such a masterpiece, swaying in the spotlight, makes me feel so good inside. Oh baby, don't ever talk about things that are everlasting. Oh baby, we won't ever last. Hoping we're in that movie where you teach me how to dance, and I'm just a young and foolish, begs for a second chance. I'm doing clumsy pirouettes in your bedroom light, praying you will ask me.
That is done, all mucked out. I wasn't going to muck him out until we come back a lot later on. But he kept walking around, and you would have seen in the video, he just constantly kept walking around. That's because he's anxious, he's worried. And I mentioned it in the last vet video. He's always like, if he hasn't been out for a couple of weeks or for a while, he gets proper like anxious and worried. But then say if he goes out like regularly, then each time he'll get better and better, and then he'll get to the point where he's absolutely fine about it, and then he'll just stand. So obviously it was only a week ago when he last went out in the trailer, but if you think about it, it wasn't a very nice place where he went last week. You know, it wasn't fun. You know, it was probably quite traumatic for him, having needles stuck in his leg and things. So he's probably thinking, well, my last outing was not very nice, and obviously he's going back there as well, which he obviously doesn't know. But yeah, this is kind of what he gets like if he hasn't been out in the trailer for a while. But then he does get better. But anyway, so I marked him out because he kept walking around. He was like standing in all his poo and moving it all around, so I thought it'd be a lot harder to muck out. And he normally does like quite a few poos when I'm getting him ready, so I thought that'd be even more mess. So if I just get him mucked out, then that's all done basically. So that's done. And I also had time. Last week we didn't have time. I literally had to get ready and go, whereas I had like 45 minutes, and it only took me 7 minutes to muck out his stable and sweep it up. So it doesn't take very long, but I didn't have those 7 minutes last week. So yeah, he can just chill. I brushed through his tail. In a minute I'll take his rug off and just flick over with the brush of his body, and then closer to the time I'll put his travel boots on, and everything like that.
You said it was the last time, but you keep coming back to tell me sorry that you take back all the things you said just to hurt me. Our love just went cold, but I'm still burning. Our love just went cold. Why? I keep on making the same mistake. to build my walls up, but you're taking them down. It's tearing me apart, I can't pretend. Now I have to get over you again.
Dan all brushed. Look guys, he needs to have his bridle path trimmed. It's got so long, and I know he's not in work now, so he doesn't need any of this done, but I am going to continue with it. But I'm sorry, my camera is not focusing and the lighting's so bad, but I'm so pleased with how Dan is looking. Like, I couldn't be happier with him, if I'm completely honest, with his weight. He's got such a shine on him, and I'm just so happy with him weight wise. Like, when he was in work, I was really happy with his weight wise, and then I would say probably the first couple of weeks, because he was going out and things, he might have put on just a little bit of weight, not much, just a little bit of weight, because obviously his exercise just stopped. But since he's been in, he has dropped a little bit of weight for the best, to be honest. I'd say he's gone back down to the weight of when he was in work. So yeah, I'm really happy with how he's looking, and I wouldn't want him to lose. Hang on, Dan, you want to scratch it? I wouldn't want him to lose any more weight, if I'm completely honest. He is obviously a stockier type, so he's able to carry that little bit more weight. He wouldn't look right if he was really slim, because it doesn't suit his type. He wouldn't, you know, he's a completely different statue to like a thoroughbred or a warm blood or something like that. You know, he does look probably fat if you put him next to a thoroughbred or something, but you know, he's a chunkier type, so he wouldn't look right if he was slim. So I'm really happy with how he's looking, and I definitely don't want him to lose any more weight. He is basically, we're not really restricting him as such. Obviously he's not having the grass, which is probably a massive thing, but he's still having dinner. He doesn't have breakfast anymore. He stopped that when I was even riding him, because none of them wanted it. They just wanted to go straight out in the field. So he just has his dinner, and he was on the Pure Feeds working, but we've now changed him to the Pure Feeds fibre, because he doesn't need to be on the working. The working's got too much goodness, and also it's not a food to heat up. It's not meant to heat up your horses or anything like that, but I think he was, because he was having so much food pumped into him and goodness. Oh Dan, good boy. He was having so much goodness, I think it was wiring him up, because he wasn't burning off the energy. So he's still on Pure Feeds, but he's just on the fibre, which is for horses that are good doers or not really in exercise, and it's low calorie as well, but it still has all of the nutrients and everything, and minerals that he needs into his body. So we haven't stopped that. So yeah, so he's having his dinner, and I've cut him down a tiny weeny bit on his dinner, but hardly anything. And I will admit, I am the type of person that does give him lots of treats, but I've never worried about the amount of treats that I give him, because he's always been in work, so he always burns off what he gets. But I will admit, I did, when the farrier thought he had laminitis, I did stop giving him the treats, because obviously we wasn't sure, and I'm not going to feed him them. And I have, this week he's had quite a lot of treats, because it was his birthday, and he had treats last week when he went to the vets, and he'll have treats today. He is still having treats, but I'm just not giving him as much, but he is still having treats. So we're not really like restricting him, and we haven't put him on a diet at all. Like, we're still giving him plenty of, like, he's got hay all day and all night. He's never without hay, and he isn't actually a pig. He looks like the type that's a really fast eater and a pig, but he's the complete opposite. So yeah, we haven't restricted him or put him on a diet. I've just basically cut him down a little bit on the treats, haven't we, mister? But yeah, really pleased with how he's looking, and the shine is all down to the Pure Feeds. I literally cannot recommend their food enough. He's been fed on them for 5 years now, and he's been on the Pure Feeds Easy. That's what he started off with. He's been on the Pure Feeds Conditioning, although he didn't like the conditioning, and then he's been on the fibre before, and he's back on the fibre, and he's been on the working, and the working is what we stick him with, because I do like fun rise and I trail hunt, and he's ridden like 5-6 days a week. Like, I do a lot with him, so that's why he was on the working basically. But yeah, very happy with how you're looking, Dan. Right, I need to put the mucking out equipment away. Dan's just done another poo, so I'll pick that up, and then I'm going to put his rug on and see what the time is, because we seem to have a lot of time today, whereas last week we didn't, and we left the same time, and we're only leaving 15 minutes later today. So yeah, I don't know why I've got so much time. His lovely J Blue cooler on, which he'll obviously travel in, and hopefully they'll allow him to stay in it in the stable, because he's not having anything done till 3 o'clock. So I'd like him to keep his rug on really, but I don't know about the vets. Got Mitz here, who will be going out in the field. She hasn't actually been mucked out. Her stable is minging. You wouldn't believe it was mucked out at 11 o'clock last night. That's how disgusting she is. So yeah, so she's going to be going out for the day. They're going out naked because it's going to get a lot hotter later. And then Dawny's in her. See if I can zoom in. You can just about see her there. So yeah, so they're having a day out, aren't you, Mitz? And Mitz has actually lost quite a bit of weight. We're really happy with how she's looking coat-wise. Like, she's got a really nice shine on her. Sorry, why is my phone not focusing? It keeps doing this. I don't know why. Yeah, she's got a really nice shine on her, and she has lost a lot of weight. She still needs to lose a bit more weight. Now, she is on a diet. But we're not doing it in a way like some people, they won't feed their horses to drop the weight and things like that. She's still having hay at all times. Obviously it's soaked, the same as that. Mittens, stop. And so yeah, her hay's being soaked, but that's the same as Dan's as well. Mittens I mean. And she's just basically getting restricted out in the field. So she was just getting hand grazed with Dan because she wasn't allowed out in the field for a couple of days after the back being done. And then when I stopped doing the hand graze, which was the vlog where I done spend the day with me, she hadn't been out since. And then the other night she went wild, like in here, she was going crazy, and it was winding up Dan, and obviously we can't have that with him. So we said we're gonna have to let her out for a couple of hours, like the next day, so it was like 10 o'clock at night, just to keep her chilled, to keep her sane as well. But the whole reason, obviously she had to have the couple of days off from going from the field, but we didn't want to let her out because we didn't know how Dan was going to cope with it, with her going out. We thought he was going to go crazy and we didn't want to risk it. But then seeing her in here, we was like, we're just going to have to take the risk. So the next morning we let her out. We didn't make it a big thing. We just opened up the fence and she just walked out. And Dan was so good. He was eating his hay out there, and he was just like, he watched her go all the way across the field. We felt so guilty, but he didn't make a scene about it. He didn't go silly or jump around. He just watched. He was such a good boy. And basically she's been out every single day this week, but she's not out all day. She's literally out for a couple of hours. We let her out in the morning, and at lunchtime I get her in, and she's in for the rest of the day and night. And that's what we was doing before Dan went lame. That was her routine. So yeah, she's being restricted from the grass, but it's keeping her sane as well. And she's still getting fed her dinner. It's all low calorie and things. So yeah, she has lost a lot of weight, but just needs to lose a little bit more weight. And then, yeah, we'll be really happy with, I mean, we are pretty happy with how she's looking. She's looking amazing, we think. But yeah, just drop a little bit more weight, Mitz, and you'll look even better.
I get around despite the loss. I'm over here, gotta get across. Whether you like it or not, there is a moment meant for us. And
Funny, guys. He's had travel boots on so many times, and well, every horse does it. They walk so funny, it does make me laugh. But anyway, he's all ready to get loaded now. I've just got to put the bag in the car, which has got his bridle in. Very, very worried. You wouldn't oh, okay, Dan. You wouldn't actually think that I've swept up, would you guys? It's from him walking around. Hey, mister. Who looks a smart boy? You look as if you should be going to a show or going and doing something fun, Dan, not going to the vet. Hey, mister. You're looking so clean, super smart, ready to have some fun, and you're going to the vets, hey? Good boy. Lovely.
Under neon bright lights when you my tattoos, just a remedy, remedy, remedy. Yeah, and the way you go, baby, don't you know? There's a remedy, remedy, remedy. Yeah.
All loaded. And last week we took haylage, guys, but today we're taking soaked hay because I think the vets would have a fit. They didn't say anything about us bringing haylage, but they said you gotta watch what he eats, blah blah blah. So I think they'd have a fit. So we've took soaked hay, but the only reason why we bought the haylage because we thought it'd be easier for them. We don't have to worry about soaking it because he's normally on hay. So we basically done it to take to the vets, but never mind. But we still have got a bale here, which is from last week. So we took 2 bales and we forgot to take it out. And then we've got some more hay here if that's not enough, because obviously he's going to be there for a while. He's got his bucket because he doesn't like eating out of a hay net. And then a poop scoop, which is all tied up so it doesn't go anywhere. And then some carrots and apples. He's just had a carrot. Hung the lead rope up. So it's now 7:15. So I need to somehow get out of this. I might have to climb. Oh god. Oh god. Oh no, Dan. Good boy. You saying, what are you doing? This is my current situation. Let's hope I don't fall. I don't think this is a good idea, guys. I'm not the most... Okay. I'm not the most athletic, which you've probably gathered. Oh! Done it! That's pretty good. I missed that. That was flexible for me. Right, that's all done up. Good boy. We'll see you when we get there, mister. Love you lots. Let's get this shut up. So tunnel. And then this one. Right. Oh. Just make sure these are hung up. We don't want them slamming when we're driving. We have made the mistake before where we thought they were perfect. Right, we are ready to go and we're on time. Is out in the field. She's going to be out all day so we don't have to worry about her. Like I said, she's normally only out till lunchtime, but today, one day doesn't hurt her being out all day. She'll be restricted as from tomorrow again anyway. I've gone up into Mit's stable to make sure she's not missing anything and sniffing the wee and poo, which is lovely. Other two are gonna get mucked out later on because the stable's not as big as Dan, so you can't do it with them in there. But yeah, I'm still feeling very nervous about today, but because I know what to expect, it's not as bad. We are back here again, guys, and there's actually a trailer behind us, but I said I bet they're not coming. They're probably going to the beach or something with their horse, but you never know. They might be coming today. Nope, they're not indicating. They're definitely not coming to the vets. You're going to park down here? You're not going to go there and then drive out?
No, because we can unload here and then I'll reverse back there.
Okay. I'll try and get some footage, guys, but not promising. I managed to get it last week, so hopefully it'll be the same. This is Dan's stable that he's going to be going in. We can't find anyone. Yeah, the door's open. So imagine so.
About to leave, already packing, come with me.
Okay guys, so that's Dan all dropped off. He seems to be very settled. He's in a different stable to last time. He's actually in the stable that he was meant to be in last week, but there was a deer in there last week. So yeah, so he was round the opposite side last week. Anyway, so he's in and he's got a bed, whereas last week, the stable that he was meant to be in had the bed and everything. But obviously there was something in it, so he unfortunately didn't have a bed, which is obviously not the end of the world. But today, I mean, he was there all day last week, but he was they were doing stuff with him like in the morning, whereas he's not doing anything until 3 o'clock basically. But we actually saw the vet that's dealing with him. She's just come up to get some stuff to do to go somewhere else basically, and she said she'll do him like as soon as she can. So yeah, so we've kept his rug on. They didn't tell me to take his rug off, so he's still got his rug on. Whether or not it's still on now is another story, but it was on when I left. But yeah, he seems to be really happy. So again, the same as last week, I'm off to work. Well, it's only just gone 8, so I'm off to work for 9. And then wait to hear from the vet basically, but all he is having is the injection. She said she won't need to like trot him up or anything like that, and if need be, if he does need to be sedated, he can be like properly sedated, but hopefully he won't need that. He's a very good boy. He was very good last week, so hopefully he will be the same today. But yeah, he seems to be very happy. We then had to fill out some more forms because we done it last week, but we filled it out for the nerve block, so obviously we've got to redo it for a different thing. And they also gave us some paperwork, giving us like some information and our signing, and then if for some reason, say he had to stay in tonight, obviously he's coming home today, but if there was for some reason he had to stay in, then we've got a overnight care thing. So yeah, so we've got that, and yeah, that's everything now until we've got the phone call to go and pick him up basically. So Dan actually had to be weighed, so when we got him off of the trailer, he had to go on the weigh scales. 524, we said, is that bad? And she went, it's alright, like that, and then he went into his stable. So next time you'll hear from me is on the way to go and collect him, and yeah, so I will see you guys later on. Guys, oh god, my hair, it is a fair view. Well, it's hours later. I last spoke to you at 8 AM and it's now about 3:30 just gone, so a very long time since. You might notice that I've put different, because I've actually had my lashes done because I figured today was the best day, because I've been leaving work and going straight to the stables to give Dan his hay and let him out and things, and I wanted to get them done last week, but obviously I have to be there for Dan, and Dan comes first before I have lashes or anything like that. Whoa, mister, he's going to pull out then. So I haven't been able to get them done basically, but then I thought today was the perfect opportunity, because when I found out, I only booked them late last night, because when I found out that he wasn't being done until 3 o'clock, I thought, well, I finish at 1 and they said it takes about an hour and a half, so he's not going to be ready till about 4:30, 5ish. So if I go straight from work for about 1:15, I should be done before he's even dealt with. So that's what I went and done, because then I didn't have to worry about Dan or anything like that. It was just perfect timing, knowing that I didn't have to go back to the stables with obviously Mittens being out, so it just worked out perfect. And now I can be there every other day. But yeah, so we're just on the way there now. We've had the phone call. He's actually been done quite early. Luckily, well, I was done by 2:30, so being done in time. So the traffic is so bad because it's a Friday. It's always bad. It's the end of half term as well, so any holiday makers will be going home. So yeah, it's very busy, but we're on our way there now. And yeah, apparently he was a good boy, and she's kind of explained the stuff that we've got to be aware of and things. But hopefully she's still going to be there once we get there. We're back, guys. Let's go and see him.
I wanna get to your clothes, gotta get it right now. I wanna push all the limits with you right now. So what you feel?
We are finally home. What? Just gone 5 o'clock. Time as expected. Just slowly does it. He's such a good boy. There he is. He's such a good boy. Oh no, the girls are not up here. Oh yeah, guys, Mittens has been mucked out because while my mum was waiting to pick me up when I was having my lashes done, she whipped up here and skipped Mitts out, but then I called, so she didn't have time to do this. I've got to do her hair. They must be somewhere out in the field. But let's get the little king out. He's been such a good boy. I wonder if he's with us more now. Guys, he has been in his own little world, to say the least, just because of the sedation. Hello baby, we're home. I think you've perked up a bit than what you was when we arrived. Hello. You good boy. You smart boy. You're looking smart, aren't you? You're definitely a lot more alert now, yeah? Right, let's get you out, shall we? Okay guys, so I was going to let him walk around the area here where we parked, just go down there because he's obviously been in, but with him having the bandage on, it can't come off obviously. So I'm just going to put him in the stable. I feel like I need to be stood with Dan rather than sat in the car away from him because it's all about him. But again, I'm coming away feeling positive, which is a really good thing because the last week coming home I felt positive, but this week I feel even more positive. But previous to him going to the vets last week, I have not been feeling positive at all, as you guys can probably imagine. So he's had the injection, and he's just got the bandage on because obviously if it gets infected or whatever, but it can come off tomorrow morning. He did get sedated for it, and he's only just coming around now. He was completely in a different world at the vets. But when we arrived, we was able to give him the hay, and the vets were more than happy for him to travel home. Yeah, he's definitely come around now. So yes, he's had an injection. He was a very good boy. They didn't need to like trot him up or anything like that. It was literally the injection, bandage up, and he was done. And we've basically got a piece of paper that she's written up for like the kind of aftercare of this, what we've got to keep an eye out for, and the aftercare, which I haven't actually opened up yet because she was talking to us about it. So basically the bandage can come off tomorrow morning, and I literally just forgot because I was going to let him out in that bit, and then I thought with his bandage on we don't want it to come off. She did say if it does come off it's not the end of the world, but it's better obviously if it doesn't. And then I remembered that she actually said he's got to stay in his stable for 48 hours. He's not allowed in the yard a bit. Once the 48 hours is over, we can continue doing what we was doing. So that'll be Sunday. And he's now on box rest. So I assumed last week when they said once he has the injection he's then on 6 weeks box rest, I assumed that it would be starting from, even though he was already on box rest, but the 6 weeks would start from when he has the injection. But actually we've already done a week since he last went to the vets. It's exactly a week ago today, and he's now got to be on box rest for 5 weeks. Now, last week it wasn't actually the vet that done it all that spoke to us. It was the nurse. God, I can't get my words out. The nurse that dealt with us in the morning when we arrived, and when we arrived to pick him up. She was the one that basically talked through everything that the vet had written up, whereas today our actual vet was able to be there so we could have a proper conversation with her and ask like questions and things. And she basically said that in 5 weeks time she's going to come out, which leads us to the 5th of July. So exactly 5 weeks today is the 5th of July. Mister, stop it. So how it come across last week when it was being explained to us, once he had the injection and we waited the 6 weeks, the vet would come out and check on him, and if there was an improvement with him we could start doing the in-hand walk, which I've already mentioned to you. But if he's not any better, then he'll have to go for surgery. It was kind of like if he's not better within the 6 weeks he's got to go straight to surgery. That's how we thought it was. But actually, speaking to the vet today, she was like, he's got to go on box rest obviously for 5 weeks now, and she'll come out and assess him, which is the 5th of July she's coming out, exactly 5 weeks today. And she said obviously we're hoping for the best. Obviously we're hoping that she'll be able to come out and be like, yes, there's an improvement, start walking in hand. We found out it's for 6 weeks. We forgot to ask if I'm doing it every day, but I imagine I'll be doing the in-hand walk every day anyway. But it's for 6 weeks, so I've got to do that. That's like the top thing, what we're aiming for, if that makes sense. But if she comes out and he's still not right, she's not going to say he has to go in surgery, because she doesn't want to give him the surgery, if that makes sense. That's like the last thing, if that makes sense, because she doesn't want to put him through it. She doesn't want to put us through it if she doesn't really have to. So the surgery is like the last thing, which makes us feel so much better, because we thought that was going to be the next thing if he wasn't any better in 6 weeks. But that is not the case. So she might come out and say, look, I don't feel that we can start the in-hand walk now. Give him another 2 or 3 weeks and I'll come back out, and then we might be able to start doing the in-hand walk then. Or she might say give him another month or another 2 months. She said because some horses that's gone through the same process with Dan has had to be on box rest for 3 months before they could start doing the in-hand walk. So that could potentially be him. Obviously, we're hoping within the 5 weeks we'll be able to start doing the walking in hand, but that's like the best thing, if that makes sense. But she said don't feel, if she does come out and says we can't start the in-hand walking after the 5 weeks and we got to wait another month or whatever, she said don't worry about it, don't feel disheartened, because that doesn't mean that the injection's not working. It just might need a little bit longer because every horse is different. So that's like a really positive, and that made us feel so much better. So at least I know that surgery is like the last option. She says, you know, if he's not any better in 3 or 4 months time, like we've seen no improvement, then that's when we'll start to look into the surgery, but hopefully it's not going to get as far as that. Touch wood. So yes, so she's coming out on the 5th of July. And then we'll basically go on to the next steps, whether he's got to stay in a bit longer. I mean, him going out in the field is just like, we're not even thinking about that yet. That is the last thing that's basically going to happen, because I will start getting on him before he can even go out in the field, if that makes sense. So I'll do the 6 weeks of walk. Providing that he's still okay going through the 6 weeks of walk, then I'll be able to get on him at the end of the 6 weeks. And I'll be able to start doing the trot work. Obviously, it's not going to be loads of trot work, but I'll be able to start doing a little bit of trot work with him, building him back up. By this point, he will have had about, well, he's had a month off now. 21st of June will be 2 months. About 4, potentially 5 months he might have off, because it depends if we'll be able to start the in-hand walking in the next 5 weeks, or if it's going to be another 2 months before we can. So potentially 5 or 6 months before I'm getting on him. Could potentially be before then, who knows, depends how it's going with him. So it'll be slow and steady, and we need to obviously build him up with him having the time off and things, so I can start increasing the trot work, and then we can go from there basically, with what other work I can do with him. Obviously I'm not going to be doing anything, you know, I'm not going to be competing, you know, we've got to rule out everything like that, lessons, competing, until easily, well, definitely, not even easily, 1000% until next year. We're not going to be doing any of that this year. This year is just going to be getting him sound, building him back up, and it'll just be lots and lots of hacking and just basically building him up. And that's obviously once I get a stage of being able to get on him. So that's a real positive, because although last week I took away a positive, it just sounded like if it doesn't work, the injection, then it's surgery and that's it. But that's not the case whatsoever, which fills me with so much confidence. And obviously there is still the worry that we've got to think about the injection might not work. Fingers crossed it does. They have said horses that's gone through the same process with him and having the injection has been very successful. So fingers crossed. And yeah, we've basically just got to go from there really. We spoke to the vet about going to our friends, and she said that is going to be amazing. So keep him here for the next 5 weeks. When the vet comes out, then we can look more into it. If he's ready to start doing the rehab, then we're going to move him to our friends. We actually need to tell her, confirm it to her, because we told her we would let her know. So he'll go there for the rehab, and then take it from there. And I don't know, once I get to the stage where I can get on him, he might be able to come back home and do the trot work here, or he might still have to stay there for a little bit longer until I've built up the trot work with him. I'm not really sure about that, but we don't need to, like the vet said, like we're saying, we don't need to worry about the ridden stage yet, or you know, the kind of walking in hand until we've got through these next 5 weeks and find out what the vet's saying basically. And what else did I need to say to you guys? It just sprung to my mind and I've completely forgotten. what it was. She said travelling's fine. Obviously, we're not going to be travelling him. He's got nowhere to go. But travelling him in the sense of when we go to our friends to move him, he's going to be absolutely fine to travel, etc. And there was something else that I needed to say to you guys about it. And I literally cannot think of the life of me. Now, I mentioned about him going on the scales earlier, which he was 524. But she said she doesn't think he's fat. But obviously she said don't let him put on any weight. And obviously with him not having yet exercise, it's going to be easy for him to put on weight. So obviously be very cautious about that. But she didn't say he was fat. She actually said he's looking amazing. But, you know, if he does drop a little bit of weight, it's not going to hurt him at all. So yeah, so that's basically why we're doing their hay nets, because if he can lose just a little bit of weight, I don't personally really want him to lose weight, but also I don't want him to get laminitis or anything like that, and I want the best for him with his joints and everything like that. So I don't think he needs to lose weight personally. And you know, she said either try and maintain the weight that he's at now, or it won't hurt if he loses a bit of weight, but try and maintain his weight. So that's what we're going to try and do, because I think, as I keep saying, he looks amazing. I don't want him to lose any more weight, but if he does lose a bit of weight, it's not going to hurt him for like his joints and stuff. We told her what we're feeding him. She said perfect. She really likes the pure feed. She knows it's really good. He's on the balancers, so he's still getting everything that he needs. So she's really happy with what we're feeding him. We've told her all the supplements that we're on, and we've got to send her the link, and she's gonna look into them to make sure it's got all the good stuff for him. That's gonna actually help his injury, basically. Because obviously, if it's not helping him, then there's no point buying it. It's just a waste of money. So she's going to look into it to make sure it's got all of the correct stuff to help him. And then if it does, then obviously we'll continue feeding him it. If not, then we'll look into something else for a supplement. And yeah, basically that's kind of what's going on. So we've now just got to wait till the 5th of July until she comes out. And she said for the first couple of days we've got to keep an eye on his feet, because he's had the injection. It's a very high dose of like sugar, I suppose, and with him not being in work, it could potentially happen to come into laminitis. And she's just, you know, she says it shouldn't happen, but we've got to do that. She's got to tell us to just keep an eye on that his feet doesn't go hot, or nothing weird changes in the next couple of days, but he should be fine. So we've been told to keep aware of that. And also, like last week, we had to keep an eye on that he doesn't go lame or anything like that with the nerve block injection. So it'll be just the same with that as well. And obviously if there's any issues or we're concerned about anything, to just call them. But yeah, that's basically the update now, and there isn't really going to be another update as such until the 5th of July, until she comes out, basically, because he doesn't need to go back to the vets. He's discharged from the vets, that's what they called it. So yeah, so we've just got to wait for the 5 weeks, and from now until then, for the next 48 hours, he's going to be in his stable, much to his disgust. After 48 hours are over, then he can come in the yardie bit. And that's what he's going to be doing, basically, for the next 5 weeks. Obviously, I'm still going to vlog, but I don't need to do any more update vlogs unless something changes where I need to tell you guys. But when I do other vlogs, I can give you like little mini updates, and of course you can see how Dan's getting on. And like I keep mentioning, you guys are going to be coming on the whole journey with us. So if anything changes, and when the vet comes out, I will be vlogging it and keeping you guys updated. But this is going to be the last update vlog, I imagine, for 5 weeks, and I'll just do different vlogs for you all. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Now you know what stage we are at, and I'm feeling so much more positive about it. She's given us more confidence. So yeah, so fingers crossed the injections are gonna work, but I'm not gonna worry as such if she says he's got to be on box rest for another month or two, because it's nothing to worry about, and it's not to say that the injection's not working. He just might need a bit more time, so that's a positive. So please make sure that you like and subscribe if you haven't already. Stay tuned for the rest of the update videos and see how we get on in 5 weeks time. Stay tuned for some other videos. Might try and get LJ in a vlog because she secretly loves it. And for now, I'll see you next time. Bye.
I wanna get to your clothes, gotta get it right now. I wanna push all the limits with you right now. So watch your feelings, the city's screaming, we're not coming home tonight. We're living quick in the world, gotta get it right now. People talk and tell what you wanna hear now, but they all disappear, they will let you down. So we better stick together, let's come whatever, we're not coming home tonight. We're living quick in the world, gotta get it right now. We only need the two of us together. I need only you in this crazy world, 'cause we got love, love. I need only you here with me. You wanna get close to me, why don't you do it right now? You know we met for a reason, but you're trying to deny that we should be together. It's heavy weather, we're heading for tonight.